Okay, boys, here we go. This is Dan Zehner, part of Larry's SEAL Team Leaders team. Super excited to talk to my good buddy here about his origin story, which, if you've been around us for any length of time, or even if you haven't, is super exciting, like anything you'd see out of Hollywood. But he's a real guy, and we're going to get into that a bit. So, Larry, thanks for spending the time today. It's always good to hang out with you, and I'm super excited to hear some of your stories. It's always a blast.
Yeah, my pleasure. I'm excited. I've been able to I do a lot of speaking and teaching, and I get to use these stories to underline different points in these lessons, but I've never really just sat down and told the story from start to beginning. And so our intention with this is to produce, a coherent story from when I first decided I wanted to join the military through where we are today with our business. And so we're going to do this in a series of probably 6 or 7 videos, and I can't wait to share this story with everyone.
Yeah, I mean, as we started filming some of these, it's, your completeness comes out. And so, the 6 or 7, just be ready for it to be longer and more complete, but more awesome. So
Fair point. Yeah, fair point.
which is one of the many things I really appreciate about you, Larry, is that you never leave anybody hanging unless it's for a good reason. So let's dive in. We'll dive deep and quick, and we'll see where we end up. And starting off, what was being a kid for you like? Like, how did it start in your brain that you wanted to be a SEAL?
Well, that really starts in 2 places. The first place is I have to attribute it to Top Gun and being able, Tom Cruise, I gotta say, unfortunately, that is where this all starts for me, in at least in the concept of the military. So I saw Top Gun in 3rd grade and decided I was gonna be a fighter pilot. Like, by the time I left the movie theater, that was it. My dad was a Marine for a number of years before he had me, and he attributed all the good things in his life and our life to our country, and really believed that there is a required service, right? So the fact that we're citizens and get to enjoy all of this opportunity, like, you owe something. And military service was where I saw my opportunity. So from a very early age, 3rd grade, I said I wanted to be in the military and a fighter pilot. But SEALs started a lot later for me, in that I didn't know anything about them. I mean, that would have been in the late 70s, early 80s. I mean, SEALs, no one knows anything about SEALs. So this particular SEAL aspect of it started in 7th or 8th grade, when a friend of mine got me a sweatshirt that said Navy SEALs on it. It was from the Charlie Sheen movie in the late 80s, early 90s. And I had no idea what a Navy SEAL was. He didn't either. He just saw Navy and a cool logo, so he bought the shirt. I went to the library, as any good little skinny dork would do, and I looked up Navy SEALs, and there was a book called The Men with Green Faces. And yeah, it was amazing.
We might put a link in the description of this because it's that good.
It's a good read. It's a real life fiction. So a SEAL that had done some tours in Vietnam wrote this book. It's a fiction book based on many of his experiences. And by the end of the book,
there's a relation to your, getting into the teams with some Vietnam veteran SEALs as well.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, that's where it was amazing to me. My journey's been a pretty cool journey. And so by the end of the book, I decided fighter pilots were pansies. I needed to be a Navy SEAL. But beyond just that, identifying with that community, right? 1, of being in service, and 2, having this opportunity to do this work that SEALs do. The real driving force for me was through being bullied. So I'm 6'2", 200 pounds, big badass SEAL, but that was not the way I started out. I was in high school. I was 106 pounds and 5'2". Like, I was a little skinny kid, and I was dorky. And on top of that, growing up in Pittsburgh, if you didn't play football, baseball, basketball, you're going to be a dork. And for me, if it's got a ball or a team, I'm useless at it. I'm athletic in strange ways, as in, if it was something weird, I did it well. Like I was slalom water skiing by the time I was 8. I was, doing black diamond mogul runs on skis when I was 5.5, 6. So like it was odd. Like if I grew up in now with X Games generation, I would have been a rock star. But growing up in Pittsburgh in the 80s, I was not. And on top of that is I was quite awkward, socially awkward. And, one of the things I, don't really share often, but my son, one of my older sons is probably is on the low end of the autism spectrum. And what I realized in getting him assessed in that way is I am too. Like I fully have, probably a bit of Asperger's / some autism going on. And it really helped me identify what made me so different, and also why, especially in the 70s and 80s, not well received by normal kids. I just don't interact normally with people. Like I'm abnormal. And so I got bullied really, really badly through middle school and high school. And I learned in middle school that the bullies wanted me to react. And so if I could restrict my emotional responses, if I didn't fight or scream or yell, I was winning. But just because I didn't react to their bullying didn't mean it didn't hurt. And so I just learned to take that hurt and put it in a corner in the box. And what that enabled me to do is become really practiced at emotional self-regulation, being able to regulate my emotions. And that one trauma of being bullied, provided me the opportunity to build that resilience in emotional self-regulation. And one of the things that I've found common between all the SEALs that I know is that you can't be normal. Like you gotta be not quite right in the head to decide to be a SEAL. You gotta be a little bit off. And not even a little, you gotta be a big chunk off, right? They're gonna ask you to do, just in training, they're gonna ask you to do things that normal people say no thank you to, right? You don't get paid a lot. You don't get recognition. Most of the time, no one knows what you do, and you're gonna risk your life every day, right? Most people say no thank you to that. Something's gotta be not right with you for you to wanna do that. And what I found to be common between the successful SEALs that I know is that there's some trauma in their life, probably early on, that required a lot of self-regulation. I mean, for me, it was bullying. For others, it was growing up on a farm. Like I knew one guy grew up on a farm and 3/4 of their dairy herd died when he was 8. And then it was years of struggle after that. And other guys who grew up with abusive parents or split marriages, or a brother that was really, really good at everything and they weren't. I mean, it's got to be something like that created that trauma early on, and that need to self-regulate that results in a SEAL being able to choose to do what they did. And for me, it was bullying. And what do SEALs do but fight the biggest bullies in the world? Look, sign me up. I'm in. Okay, so we just split that story for you. One of my unique aspects that continues to add to my strangeness and has been very useful for me in my both SEAL career and life is my need for absolute completeness. So we've been trying to keep these videos to about 10, 12 minutes long, and I think we went well over 20 minutes in this sole one. So I'm breaking this here for you. We're going to continue this story into what it took to get through training and then getting to the actual SEAL team. So be sure to check part 2 of this first story, my origin story from being a skinny little kid, a little dork in Pittsburgh, up into becoming an actual SEAL and joining SEAL Team 3. And then we'll see you for the rest of these videos as this series continues.